So now let's flash forward to the summer of 2020. We're in the pandemic, and in May of 2020, we see the death of George Floyd. And that was a videotape that a lot of people found too disturbing to watch. Anybody who did watch it found it just awful. But you're a black man in America who's obviously had some racist experience in the past. I mean, I know because I've seen the book, and I just know it's the truth. And how does that affect you?
So what happened to George Floyd was obviously tragic. And, you know, what's happened in our world and is happening right now is obviously tragic. What I tried my best to do was to take a step back and say, what is the right way for me to respond in a way that can bring the most change? The same way that people who decided to kneel or disagreed with me made a decision for themselves about, you know, what they wanted to do, which was kneel for the National Anthem and wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. For me, it wasn't. In that moment, looking at my life and saying, the love of Jesus Christ is the thing that has changed me, that has helped me, and has me where I am today. I couldn't think of a better or a greater message or antidote for the problems that we see, the you know, racism and all the different things that ultimately plague the hearts of men. I couldn't see a better antidote for it. And so I decided to not step into a fight, not step into a political moment, not step into, you know, the craziness of what was happening at the moment, and say, I have an opportunity to be a mouthpiece of, you know, hope and what I ultimately believe is going to change this country if we can choose to see it that way. And so I decided to just stand up and give the gospel.
What do you mean? What do you mean? To live the gospel, or was there a moment where you actually preached the gospel with the team?
Well, in the press conference right after. And so once
yeah. So now we're getting ahead of ourselves. Stand by. So we'll go back. Yeah, no, that's okay. Well, it's good. Your story works chronologically, so that's the way I'm doing it. So July 31st, 2020 comes, and the team behind the scenes says, we've got to do something. Like, this is where you all go into the bubble. All the teams are playing in the bubble. And, you know, we don't have COVID figured out. We don't know what we're doing. And people are upset and decide we got to do something. And so how did that come about? Like, the team, and you're sitting there and they're talking about their plan and you're thinking something else. So take us to that moment.
So after it all happened, there were murmurs of, you know, the players deciding to kneel and wear the T-shirt, but it wasn't confirmed. I think the only thing that was confirmed was that they were going to have Black Lives Matter T-shirts as the warm-up T-shirts. But the kneeling wasn't confirmed until the first team did it. So I don't exactly remember what team it was, but the first team that did it in the bubble, and then one more team did it. And that now was like the next day was coming and we were set to play. And so now we have this team meeting and they're like, yo, we don't have a choice. You know, there is no conversation here. We have to kneel. And, you know, granted, there were plenty of guys who wanted to kneel, but definitely the sentiment in the room was like, there's no need to have this conversation because this is just what it has to be. We can't be the only team not to kneel. And then that's when the question was passed to me. And I think, you know, knowingly, because they know who I am. And somebody asked me, you know, Jonathan, what are you going to do? And I said, listen, fellas, I'm not going to kneel and I'm not going to put that T-shirt on. And that's when, you know, chaos ensues. And we kind of just leave the meeting with everybody just do what you want because, you know, this thing is going to be crazy. And then we get to the next day and it happens.
So before we get to the video, why? Why did you stand? Why did you refuse to kneel?
Well, I couldn't see, you know, seeing all the things that were going on at the moment. I'm thinking for myself, what is the answer? And for me, I didn't see what was going on with kneeling in for the national anthem and wearing a T-shirt or, you know, the Black Lives Matter organization as the answer, not only for that moment, but for the world at large. And so as I looked at my own life and said, I know what has changed me. I know what has helped me. I know what has helped countless people. And ultimately, what is going to be the thing that changes the world? And that's the gospel. And that's the love of Jesus Christ, if we're willing to show it and share it. And so that's why I decided to stand. I had a conversation with my pastor the night before. And ultimately said, listen, it's bigger than skin color. It's the hearts of men that need to be changed. And racism is not the only thing that plagues the hearts of men. But I know that the gospel changes the hearts of men. And so we had a conversation that was like, look, this thing is going to be crazy. It's not going to be something that I just do and it just blows over. I'm going to get a lot of backlash and attack for it. And he was like, look, you may be standing alone in that bubble, but I'm standing right there with you. And my girlfriend at the time was, is now my wife. She said the same thing. I'm with you. I know you're going to be standing out there alone, but I'm standing right there with you. And, the sentiment that came out of it was a whole lot of encouragement from other Christians and people who understood my perspective. And then, the next day it happened.
All right. We've got video of it and of a reporter asking you a question about it. Let's watch.
So you didn't kneel during the anthem, but you also didn't wear a Black Lives Matter shirt. Do you believe that Black Lives Matter?
Absolutely. I believe that Black Lives Matter. A lot went into my decision, and part of it is, first off, is my thought that, kneeling or wearing a Black Lives Matter t-shirt don't go hand in hand with supporting Black lives. And so I felt like, just me personally, what it is that I believe in, standing on the stance that I do believe that Black Lives Matter, but I just felt like it was a decision that I had to make, and I didn't feel like putting that shirt on and kneeling went hand in hand with supporting Black lives.
Did you ever think you as a black man would have to justify whether you believe that Black Lives Matter just because you wouldn't put on a T-shirt and take a knee?
No, I didn't. And the question definitely threw me off, but it was already a very tense moment. And, if I had to answer that question again, my first answer would be, of course, I'm black. And, but yeah, and part of the problem for me was that it was an order. It was made to seem as though the only way that you could support Black lives in this moment was to do what we tell you, and that is to kneel for the national anthem and wear a Black Lives Matter t-shirt. And if you didn't do that, then you were immediately a bad person, an evil person, and you didn't care anything about Black lives. But again, looking at my own life, and I've been involved in ministry for 4 years now, and during that time, I was involved in ministry, and I've seen countless lives changed, black, white, and indifferent, through the gospel. And so I had evidence for myself that wasn't the only way to support Black lives, and I knew a greater way to support Black lives than that demonstration. And so that went into my decision not to be a part of it.
What did you think was non-gospel like about the T-shirt and the kneeling gesture?
Well, non-gospel, it was the tone of the message to a degree. It was definitely an angry moment and an emotional moment, and it was equating everybody on that side, every white person, every white person, to the actions of one person. And I didn't think that was right. And ultimately my answer was that, look, we all fall short of the glory of God. We all sin. We all make mistakes. And, Jesus said, he who is without sin, cast the first stone. And so, ultimately I believe that if we can love and forgive the way that God loves and forgives us, which is in spite of our faults, in spite of our sin, then we could have change. And so looking at the Black Lives Matter organization and movement, I never felt comfortable in it stating, yeah, I see what's going on, but I believe that Jesus is the answer. I never felt comfortable in that sphere saying that. And so, that's why, and I'm pretty sure that the Black Lives Matter organization on that side is antithetical to, Christ.
Inflation is at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates are skyrocketing, and a recession could soon be coming. Caught between runaway inflation and a recession, our retirement accounts are in real danger, and you know that if you ever check them. If you want to protect your future, call the precious metal dealers I trust, American Hartford Gold. They can show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. It's all about diversification. All it takes to get started is a short phone call. They will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or inside your IRA or 401k. American Hartford Gold makes it easy. They are the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau, and they have thousands of satisfied clients. Call them now and they will give you up to $1,500 of free silver on your first qualifying order. Call 866-518-2955. That's 866-518-2955. Or you can just text my name, Megyn, Megyn, to 65532. 65532. Okay? So again, that's call 866-518-2955 or text my name, Megyn, to 65532. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.